So um, when we look at our human life from the birth till now, we all have a very similar way of bringing up, very similar of bringing up. So we have, in general, there are some who do not have their parents. Either they died early age or before they're grown up, or they become orphan due to certain reasons. But in general, basically, we have our parents, and then our doesn't matter where we are from. We all have a same way of bringing up. So our parents are always with us. When we can't crawl, they were hugging, or we were in their hands, arms, and then were taken to different places here and there, and we began to explore the world and see the world in a different form, and then gradually we we began to feel and experience it, and then later on, parents will taught us how to walk and how to talk, and some manners, and then not only that, our parents also taught us about drink, about to eat, and there were restrictions that what can we eat and what can we drink, and what sort of things we should avoid, and like that. So each one of us, depending on the status or living standard, we learn basically same or similar skills. Similar skills. So we grow up with that. And then from being in our parents, what is it called, in their hands? A specific word, I think, holding when we were a baby. Cradles. And then as we began to stand up, then they will hold our hands, and then help us to walk. And then the moment when we able to walk, the first step, our parents are like over the moon, right? Over the moon. That, oh yes, my baby is walking now. But that over the moon that they started to feel, actually producing fear in there too. That he's gonna fall, or he or she's gonna run away, or he or she's going to cause something or touch something that can be dangerous. Now, the moment when they start walking, that is the beginning of the fear in the parents. And that's also not only the fear, and that fear also generates a joy. And then constantly being aware of this boy, whether this boy is going to be mischievous or not, whether this girl is going to be mischievous or not. And now, when this boy or girl, this child, beginning to walk, that time, if that child is behaving well, is just very good at interconnection with other members, then everybody wants to cuddle, everyone wants to play. Whereas someone is running like a monkey all over, then everybody beginning to say, it's a very naughty boy, a naughty girl, So that is something there with a joy as well as some fear and as well as some pessimistic and negative there. And with that childish activity, and some parents also can detect that how this person is going to deal in their future life. Someone very, introvert, the child, and then just going to the cuddling of the others, and then happy with that. And but other child just running around and testing, curious, being curious about this and being curious about that. That person most likely able to deal with the problems, dealing with the situations, like that. But again, this is not the general the assumptions, and then that will be the true all the time. It is not the case. Sometimes one who is very introvert can be later on become exceptionally good at solving the problems, especially these days, like hacking and and tracking and causing troubles. So that can be done too. But in general, those people, those children who were very curious could solve the problem. And not only that, as we began to grow, then our parents will teach different skills all the way through. Some parents keep them in a, what is it called, daddy's boy or mommy's boy or something like that. So you have to do nothing. They will do it to you everything. They don't have to worry at all. All what they have to do, wake up, go to dinner table, and the food is ready there, and then eat. And after eating again, don't need to worry about the plates. Just leave it there, and then straight to whatever task they want to do, they can do. And there are other parents, those who will encourage children to learn how to solve the problems in many different ways. Same thing when we go to school, that's also the case. We were taught in a different forms, different ways. And that actually is very key for the emotional improvement in us, or emotional resilience that we have in our life later time coming from there. So in those days, if a child had lack of these attention and these nagging and these small tasks of solving the problems or working together or giving tasks by the parents, they most likely become a bit arrogant or lost, or even when they grow old, they began to question of what is they are looking for. They can't find actually what they are looking for. And with that, they will try this, try that, try this, try that, and try fail and feel disappointed, again go on. So it has the result coming from the past upbringing. Some can overcome with the help, and some can just cannot deal with it and becomes more troubled. So throughout our lifetime, each one of us have encountered many various different forms of problems and experiences that we have, and also many good, many bad. But when we look at that, good and bad, pretty much most of the time we're living with the bad memories. We're living with the bad experiences, and then from that bad experiences, we are demonstrating our behavior in our life and acting in our life. So with that behavior behaviors and acts due to the effect that we had in the past causes more trouble. And we become very mentally disturbed. Now, with that, we very much step back to find joy and happiness in our life. Feel unhappy, or difficult to find the happiness, and then further on can't understand what is happiness. We can't understand what is joy, and we can't understand what is success. Sometimes we may think that we have a joy, we have a happiness, we have a success, but after some times, then suddenly those old memories will kick in, and then again becomes miserable. So that's why it's very important that we have the mindfulness. We have the way to deal with it. Some people can develop this dealing mechanism automatically along the way in the life. Others can't. So others need external support. And these external support, again, sometimes may work, other times may not work. There's uncertainty there because it's just a trial. With this trial, this is just a trial. So with that, but the good thing is that once we have pointed out that I am having this trouble, we just need to work with that and try to solve that, which takes quite a lot of energy and a lot of dedication, determination, and acceptance, and so on. So we do need that. So as a result of that, what we have to be very mindful that whenever things goes wrong or going to be wrong, at that very moment, step back, look at what's the trouble is and how my perception to it and how am I dealing with that. Are you going to run away or are you going to respond this with mindfully? Now, if we responded mindfully, doesn't matter how difficult the task is, we will be able to deal with that. And the dealing is a very crucial part here. That we have to have a positive mindset. So that's why, in order to have this positive mindset, the teachings of the Buddha say that if you want to deal with these problems in a true way and to get the good fruit, first of all, ask yourself that have you given up any unwholesome activities and any unwholesome behaviors? And then once you have done that and you have investigated on that, focusing on that, how can I move on in my life towards the positive, towards the good and happiness and joy. So when you reflect on that, and that reflection itself is actually the result of avoiding doing which is unwholesome. That again requires the stability of the mind. So you have to have the stable mind. When you have this stable mind, then it helps us to recognize that all this behavior that I'm having actually is the past incident that I am going through. It is the past incidents, past experiences, past my own fault or my own success is the cause, actually, is leading towards these miseries. So that's why, according to Buddhism, there's nothing wrong with remembering or recollecting the past. The matter is not attached to it. The very moment when we are attached to that past memory, then that causes a problem. But if we take it as a lesson, then it reinforces us to change behavior. It enforces us to do further good things in our life. So remembering the past, knowing the causes and then effects that we are experiencing, changing that similar patterns. So that's why the moment when we become very mindful of these activities, as our mind settles, and then we're beginning to see those past experiences which we brought up during, since the time after we born, are the main root cause of these behavior and attitudes that we are having, then gradually we will be able to change towards the positivity. And that positivity actually born out of true understanding. Understanding that we all have to face the problem. We are no exempt. No one is exempt the moment when we are born. Now realizing that we have to experience the problem, then we also realize that these problems that I am facing, much of the the majority of that is actually based on the past. Then we will be changing it, and we know that we can undo it, not undoing that actual incident, but undoing in ourselves, in our mind. When we undo that, then we will be able to take away, it was happened that time, it's okay, now I can change, so put it into dustbin. And that's how we will be able to follow the path that leading towards the right path and the right action, which leads to the real happiness that we will be able to experience in our life. Yeah, so that's why this is quite important to be mindful that what are we now is the result of the past, and what we will be is the result of what we do now. This is the moment to change ourselves. If you're going back to the past and try to fix that past, never gonna be happy. And if you really want to be happy and successful in the future, that's why Buddha's advice,